Good evening, everybody. It's 5:32. I can see that we have the applicant on, and we also have Susan Fryer. She's a P&Z commissioner. And I don't see anybody else, but we're still going to do the meeting as if we had more people in it and just try to explain what we're going to be doing tonight. So the idea is for you, Ben, the applicant, to explain what's the proposed request, what do you see for the place, what's your goal. I do have the map, so I have the location map, I have the zoning, the future use plan, all that information that can be used to explain what you're proposing. Do you have your mic on, Ben?
I do, yes.
Okay, just checking. So if you want to start and explain your request, I will.
And once, Ben, when you're done, what we typically do, if anybody else joins us, what we typically do is we ask them, after you've given your presentation, then we ask them if they have any questions. And then you feel free to answer. We'll go back and forth, but we try to call on each person one at a time so everybody gets a chance to speak.
Okay, perfect. And I did see my father signed in too. I just spoke to him. I hope that it worked.
Yes, it looks
Great.
like he's turning it on. Maybe he's having audio problems. So just a quick summary. The property located at 237 Abner. Currently the zone is R2M and the request is for R3D. The R3D is a duplex zoning category. And the R2M is the density, moderate density residential. So
Sarah, is it 327 or 237?
Yeah, it's 327.
327.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
And back before the UDC was adopted, this was zoned as a R2. And R2 would allow for duplex dwelling. So the R3, this is why if you look along Abner, you're going to see other duplex developments. That's because it was allowed based on what before the UDC was adopted. And the UDC, the R2M right now doesn't allow for the duplex dwelling. So Ben, if you want to explain what your request is.
Yes, I also have my father John here too, so he can jump in. So we're just looking at making 4 luxury condominiums, townhouse style with a garage on the bottom. We just more of a little backstory. My wife and I always walk the trail in the back. And when we saw that the property was available, she quickly looked, saw it, and she's like we have to jump on it because we know the area. We love that part of town. And just, wanted others to enjoy the same.
So just to explain, let me open a table of uses here and we can talk about. So the R3D allows for duplex and also allows for multi-dwelling 3 and 4 units. It does have some restrictions based on impervious covered and all that. And those are other criteria that they will have to comply.
Okay.
This is not just the zoning, like we talked about the different impervious cover that you have from the R2M and the R3D and how that would have to be distributed in the lot so you can have those, and that doesn't depend on the zoning. Well, it does depend on the zoning, but that won't affect this right now because as a zoning, you don't necessarily have to provide us with a site plan.
Okay.
But you do have a proposed site plan now that we met on, took a look at. It looked like too much impervious cover to us initially, but it would be nice, Sarah, if you've got that, if we could share it with anybody that might be watching. No, it's just Susan right now.
Let me see if I can find just a second, please.
Great, thank you. And when you look up and down the street, I believe the neighbor is a single, one detached dwelling, but there are quite a few as you go further down the street, duplexes that, as Sarah was saying, they were permitted under the old zoning without a duplex zoning. We actually changed, even prior to the UDC, we established an RD zoning, which was specific for just duplexes. And then with the UDC, it incorporated duplexes, triplexes, and quads as well. So all of those are allowed here now. And what they're proposing was kind of a, well, Sarah will bring it up. It was kind of a side entry. You'd enter the front of the lot and then drive down the driveway and enter into each of the attached structures.
I was trying to remember what's the legal description because I couldn't find under 327. So
I can see if I can find it and figure out a way to upload it, because I know Laura, when we spoke about it, I know we had it for our meeting.
yeah,
Right.
this is what I'm looking, because maybe we do have for the, when we did the initial meeting.
Yeah, and I thought you were gonna send that to Sarah. Let's see.
So it's pretty much a.
Yeah, I don't see it in our folder, Sarah.
While we're looking for that, what is the lot size?
0.191.
It's pretty small, Susan, and that's kind of why we had questioned the impervious cover. So they still, regardless of the zoning that's approved, they still have to meet that criteria. And I think it was, is it 85%? Sarah, do you remember while you're looking for a file?
Is it easier to upload it, or I guess send an email? Sorry, I don't, not too familiar with the Zoom.
I can open it for you to share if that's easier. Let me
And-
get the impervious cover.
Let me ask Ben, do y'all want to share that as part of the, that wasn't part of the notice that went, or has that gone out yet, Sarah? Does that go out this Friday? The
No,
notice?
it went out last Friday,
Okay.
but it
So that was not part of the
doesn't,
notice.
no, we don't,
Okay,
because as
okay,
a
so we don't-
zoning, I thought it was, I
No,
didn't
we
want to
can't-
confuse the thing.
Right, well, we can't require a site plan
Got
as
it.
part of the rezoning, but I just wasn't sure if we had one or not. I knew we'd looked at something.
Yes, so the R3D, you're allowed for 50% of impervious cover.
Okay,
So this is well under a quarter of an acre, and they're wanting to put 4 dwellings and 4 garages. Is that what I'm understanding?
I found it.
Correct. Yeah, so they're actually townhouse style. And you walk into,
there you go, thank
you walk, okay, there it is. You walk into, if you want to go to the other, like the face view, there it is. You would walk in to more of just the entrance area. And then you'd go upstairs, and then that's where, more of the living space would be. The garage would be to the right. These aren't 100%, how they're going to be, but very similar as far as the inside. So yeah, very similar. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So that's the front facing Ebner.
So that's yeah, correct. That's the
This
front
one would be
facing
facing
Ebner.
Ebner.
So
Yeah.
the top one is the front facing Ebner.
That
Okay.
is correct. Yes.
So you drive down one side and then you would be seeing that lower photo.
Correct.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
this
you
would be
enter in
facing,
the
Go ahead, Ben.
street would be that front elevation, and the left elevation would be once you enter in the property and, drive down the driveway or the parking lot.
Okay. And are these all for rent or for resale?
These would be condominiums. The plan would be to sell them.
Okay. What's their square footage on those each unit?
1250 roughly,
Okay.
1,250.
They're 2 bedroom, it looks like. 2
three
bedroom, 2 bath.
bedroom. There's 2 bedrooms in the back and 1 master
Oh,
bedroom. in
okay,
front.
3 bedroom.
Three bedroom, 2 bath.
Those are tiny. Okay. Yards, do they each have an individual small yard on the opposite side of the property?
There is a little bit to put in the back. It's that, what is it, 5 feet? No,
Okay.
6 feet plus or minus.
That's just the
So
setback.
that would just be,
Right.
yeah. Our plan was to put a gate on the back side, and then people can just access the trail. If that's even possible. I don't know how the city works or what.
How does that work, Laura?
Well, that's a good question. If you, I mean, honestly, anybody can put a gate and they can access the trail, but if you formally did it, it's got to be ADA compliant and so forth. So I will have to check with Danny if that's permitted, but I know anybody can access the trail,
Okay. I know the other duplexes down the road do.
right? I think everybody walks on at different, some people walk on at different places. But if it was a formal path, then it's got to be ADA compliant.
Got
And,
it.
and you're right, Susan, we don't just let anybody like connect to the trail for that reason.
Right.
So maybe
I
that's
did
not even
when I
possible.
went to put up
Unofficially,
the
I think they
sign.
can do it. Officially, they probably cannot.
When I went to put up the signs, I took some pictures, and I'm sorry I haven't downloaded from my phone yet. So I'll have that to add to the P&Z presentation, and kind of gives you an idea of what's on the right side, left side, and kind of helps to have an idea of the size also.
Right, and Susan, you can see this was the plan what we're looking at. I don't know that they have 50% here. They'll have to determine that for us. But this is what we were working off of, and that's one of the reasons I know Sarah didn't want to send it out, because we don't feel like it's pretty apparent to me that it's more than 50% impervious cover. But you just have to know that what's allowed for that zoning is a 2-plex, a triplex, or a quadplex, but they have to fit, and they have to fit within our rules and regulations. So regardless, the site plan, you know, if they can only fit 2 on here, then that's all they're going to be able to have. If they can do 3, then they can put 3 on here.
Yeah,
But the site
zoning
plan
does
was a little
lot.
misleading to us. I know that this is their desire. I'm not sure that they'll be able to get there, but we still have to determine that.
Are there any aesthetic requirements for the front facing portion of the building?
No, so the overlay doesn't require anything. It doesn't have anything particular for that. Let me open here.
We used to, Susan, have very definite design standards, and state law stripped us of the requirement to be able to determine materials. So all we have now is you have to have a mix of materials, but we can't tell them what it can be.
Okay.
Used to be stone and stucco and percentages and so forth.
The overlay district only talks about setbacks and building height, and the plan that he's proposing right now, it does comply with that.
You said it does comply? Okay.
So yes.
And just to clarify, as far as like a design aspect, obviously this can be a new structure. You know, a little bit of stone, or a little bit of stucco, a little bit of siding. I mean, I think anything that's going to be new will look great on that street, you know. Not to discredit the other properties close by, you know, but I think it's really going to make that street look nice, having a new property there.
Yeah, I'll have to find out when some of those were built, but they look like maybe the 90s or something. But I think what Susan's talking about is the front that can be seen from Ebner. I mean, this version looks, that the actual front of them looks attractive, but from the street view, it's lacks luster.
Just a wall. Okay.
Yeah, just a wall with some windows. So I think that's
Yes.
probably what she's looking.
Laura, are there any plans that you can speak about for down the street from this property? If you're looking at this property from Ebner to the left,
Mhm.
between the Pico gas station, do we know what that's going to be eventually?
So Travis Robertson and Robert Thornton have a project over there that is an office complex.
Okay.
What I'll do, I'll send you the elevations of what they're proposing over there. As per, Travis style, they do, beautiful work over there, but it
Yes.
is railroad station-esque in
Mhm.
appearance.
Okay, so they're still going forward. That's a plan I had heard a while back. I didn't know if that was still in the works.
That is still in the works.
Okay. So that really has no bearing then on the other residential lots there.
No, those are commercial zoning a little bit further down the street.
Right.
And I
Okay.
know he was trying to work with the other property owner to purchase the other site, but I don't think that they've accomplished that yet.
Right. Yeah, that was going to be a task.
Right.
Okay. So all of the other properties are still R2M. and
They
not
are
in the
still
neighborhood.
R2M.
Okay.
Unless like they're building something brand new, they won't have to change that. They're grandfathered under what they have in place right now. And if they're a duplex, that's fine. Unless they, rebuild or add on or something, then they may need to come back in and ask for a zoning. This will be our first duplex zoning, official duplex zoning, since we changed the ordinance years ago. Nobody's asked to do a duplex type use.
And are the duplexes that are currently existing in view on this map? Or they're further down Ebner, aren't they?
Now, you see the one that's just to the right of them? That's a single family, the right. There you go. That one's a single family dwelling, but the rest of those are duplexes going further down the street, going the
The
other way.
ones, this one too,
Well,
those
that
are
side-
two duplexes.
That side and the other, and all the way
here,
down.
here.
Yeah.
But they're
They're all
forward
duplexes.
facing just 2 units, right?
Yes,
I'm
they're
sorry,
facing
what?
the street.
They're forward facing, street facing 2 units.
Those are all, yes.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all my questions.
Great. It doesn't look like we've got anybody else on. Ben, was there anything else you or John wanted to mention? Sarah?
No, not at this time. I guess I'll get more information on the impervious coverage in the near future, but
Right, 50%. So that includes your driveway, all of your, any kind of concrete work, any structure work, any of that is considered impervious cover. And so all of that factors in. So when you factor in the driveway, and parking and so forth, it appears to be more than 50%. So you've just got to look at that and figure that in, and then see really how many structures you can get on site. Can you move a little, go in the other direction, Sarah, and show?
This is the only single family. The other ones are all,
Right, and these are all front facing, your
Front-facing.
typical style duplex.
Mhm.
So what they're proposing here, the multi-unit would be new to this section of
Sure.
Ebner.
What they're essentially going to look like, the way that picture is those new townhomes on Herf.
Village at Herf,
Yeah, the village at Herf. Mhm.
right. Now, those are true townhomes where each one is on an individual lot, and they're subdivided that way. What they're doing here is these will all
Okay.
be on one lot, which we would typically consider as multifamily,
Mhm.
but can be considered in the duplex zoning also. So it's more befitting to have the duplex zoning in case they've got to scale it back some. If it's 3, or if they end up with just 2 there, then it'll fit. They can't go more than 4. Okay, great.
Excellent.
Well, this was quick. I was hoping some other people would get on, but
So letters have gone out to the neighbors or have not yet?
yes, the letters went out last Thursday because Friday was a holiday.
and
Oh.
Sarah put out a sign we have specific signs for the bond meetings that let everybody know to to go on our website and look for it. So they
And I
were,
think-
Have you
everybody's
received any
notified.
responses?
No, not yet. And I think this is how Travis found out about it, because he drove by and he saw the sign and then he called. He was asking what it was and he had some questions and he asked if he could reach out to Ben and see some more information. I don't know exactly if he did that already or not.
Yeah, we spoke yesterday, actually. Really
Oh,
nice
good.
guy. Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
We'll stop at the office and chat with him next week.
Great. Anything else, Susan?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Great. Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Thank
Y'all
you.
too. Bye-bye.